Epic Originals presents My Pet Slime-DIY Diaries, Book 4. Written by Marcy Colleen and Laren Brown. Illustrated by Renee Carilla. Performed by Rachel L. Jacobs. No peeking. These are the classified thoughts of Piper McLean. Thank you. Dear Diary, hello, it's me, Piper McLean. Guess what? It's finally wintertime, and winter is my favorite season. It's not easy to choose a favorite season. Each one is awesome in its own way, so my favorite season is usually whatever season I'm in. Spring, summer, fall, winter. But I've been waiting for winter for so long because this will be the very first winter for my pet slime, Cosmo. And it's winter break, which means no school for a whole week. I have so much I want to share with him. Don't get me wrong. I love school. Spending time with my friends like Claire and learning new stuff is the best. But school can make it hard for me and Cosmo to find time to work on our own special projects. Sometimes I have homework, or I spend time after school doing my own research and experiments on things we learned in class. Grandma Sadie says that's because I have the heart of a scientist, always curious. And she should know because she's an astronaut. Her whole job is about curiosity. Heart of a scientist equals curiosity. Luckily, I have you, Diary, my special place to gather all the ideas for crafty art projects and experiments that Cosmo and I can't get to right away. I have a list that's a work in progress. That's what Mom calls something that isn't done yet. Piper and Cosmo's wintertime projects. 1. Create an extra creamy, dairy-free hot cocoa recipe. 2. Build a track for sledding like an Olympic bobsledding track, but out of snow. 3. Construct an igloo mansion with lots of rooms. 4. Make a snow person for the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza. I'll add more ideas when I have them. I especially can't wait for the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza. It happens every year and is a chance for everyone on our street to show off their creativity. Like when Mr. Harrison across the street built a snow person around his mailbox. It was super creative, and I laughed every time I saw Brenda, our mail person, feeding it tasty letters and packages. Or when my best friend Claire made a snow doggy that looked like her dachshund buddy. It was really long, like a hot dog, but we agreed it was more like a chili dog. Get it? actual chili dog. Chili dog. This year's festival is coming up, and I've been planning ever since last year's snow people melted into puddles of slushy brown water. My design is top secret. Shh. Diary, with you and Cosmo by my side, it's going to be the best winter and winter break ever. Dear Diary, one reason I love winter so much is that it's super cozy. There's nothing like bundling up in warm sweaters, sipping hot cocoa, sitting by the fireplace and being toasty inside when it's cold and blustery outside. Today, Cosmo and I helped Mom put extra blankets on my bed. It's been getting cold at night, so Mom said it was time to pull out some warmer layers. In the linen closet, we found really soft flannel sheets with stars and hearts all over them, plus a thick, fuzzy purple blanket. I had forgotten I even had that blanket. Sometimes that happens when you put something away for a while. You forget about it, and then it's a fun surprise when you find it again. With the sheets and blankets piled all over my room, it looked kind of like it had snowed inside the house. Mom had to take a work call before we could make my bed, so Cosmo and I had some time to play in the blanket wonderland. Cosmo has never seen snow before, so I described it to him. I explained how it floats down from the sky, sometimes gently and sometimes not. Like that time it snowed so hard that I couldn't see the end of our driveway. But I also told him how, once it's on the ground, it drifts like sand and sparkles in the sun. It looks just like a carpet of white glitter. We pretended that we were at a mountaintop ski lodge. Cosmo liked sliding down the bunny slope. That's what the smaller hill is called. But he was a little worried about the really big mountain, so we climbed it together. I had trouble getting my footing. That fuzzy purple blanket was slippery. But once we got to the top, we could see for miles. Or at least across my room and down the hallway. All that snow talk reminded me of when I learned about snowflakes at the Science Center. Grandma Sadie took me. It's our favorite place to visit. Fun fact, no two snowflakes are alike. Each one is unique, which is just a fancy word for different. All snowflakes are made up of the same stuff, but they're still growing when they fall from the sky. The temperature and wind change the snowflakes on their way to the ground, and that's why each one looks different. One time, I studied some snowflakes that landed on my jacket sleeve. They were so beautiful. They melted pretty quickly, but before that, I got a close look and drew a bunch of them. I hope Cosmo won't have to wait too long before seeing snowflakes for real. Hurry up, Snow! Piper and Cosmo have plans for snowballs and snow forts and snow angels. All the snowballs. Mine, Cosmo's, Piper and Cosmo's fort. Dear Diary, it was super cold today, but the sun was shining and there wasn't a cloud in the sky, so I went outside to do a little preparation for my snow person. I needed to decide exactly where I would build it. I like to do some planning before the snow even starts. That way, when it's time, I can just jump right in and get crafting. Top secret snow person plans. Front yard. Shelby Cook, I think. While I was outside, I saw Shelby Cook riding her bike up and down the street. She asked me what I was doing, and I told her it was top secret, but that she'd see at the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza. That's when she gave me the worst news ever. She said that there wouldn't be any snow and that the extravaganza would be canceled. She said it was too cold to snow. How could it be too cold to snow? I mean, it can't snow when it's warm, right? It has to be cold. I wished it wasn't winter break so I could ask Ms. Levine during science class. But instead, I'd have to do my own research. I asked Mom if I could use the computer while dinner was cooking. It's too cold to snow. Frosty fiddlesticks! I knew exactly where to start, too. Meteorologist Marisol, our local weather person. Ms. Levine had invited her to our class when we did a unit on weather. Meteorologist Marisol has a special place on her website where you can ask questions. I typed in, "Can it be too cold to snow?" Right away, a video popped up with my answer. It was a cartoon, but with meteorologist Marisol's voice explaining things. Too cold to snow is actually a myth. She said that the idea that it can be too cold to snow is actually a myth. That means it's something that a lot of people think is true, but really isn't. Yay! But then she said that even though it can't be too cold to snow, it can be too dry. And the colder the air is, the less moisture it can hold, and the drier it is. 0 degrees Fahrenheit. 30 degrees Fahrenheit. Snow equals precipitation. Less moisture equals less chance of snow. Sad snow person. Let it snow! How can we have the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza without any snow. I've been waiting so long for this. I have plans and designs, and I've told Cosmo so much about it that he's excited too. I know I'll be super disappointed if the extravaganza is canceled, but I don't want Cosmo to be disappointed too. Dear Diary, Cosmo and I have a very important job to do. We need to get everyone in the neighborhood excited about the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza, even though there's a chance there might not be any snow. Each year, one house gets to make the announcements for the extravaganza. Last year, someone used frosting to write all the information on giant cookies that they sent to each house. Unfortunately, the cookies had gluten and dairy in them, and I'm allergic to both. So, even though the cookie idea was super cute and creative and smelled really yummy, I ended up feeling left out, and I realized that maybe there were other people in my neighborhood who couldn't eat the cookies either. Cookie as big as my face. Big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza. Sad me. I thought it would be awesome if this year's announcements were more inclusive, which means something that everyone can enjoy. So, you guessed it, Cosmo and I volunteered to create them. And we have the best idea ever. We're going to make snow globes for every house. I'm determined to stick with our plan, even if there isn't any snow in the forecast. Grandma Sadie calls this the power of positive thinking. I'm not giving up. Piper and Cosmo's inclusive announcement plan. Personalized snow globes. Date and time here. Cosmo and I have been busy gathering all the materials we'll need to make a special snow globe for every house. I've been saving glass jars since school started this fall. You never know when a craft will need the perfect jar. So we didn't have to buy any new supplies, which is great because I don't like always having to ask for a ride to the craft store. Cosmo and I rummaged through my bin of small plastic toys, which was full of dinosaurs and toy foods and tiny houses. We even found little people that kind of look like some of my neighbors. That was super exciting because we want to personalize the snow globes as much as possible. The best gifts feel like they were made especially for you and no one else. Snow globes are really easy to make, but you do need a glue gun. I'm only allowed to use a glue gun when supervised. So, when Mom was done with work for the day, I asked her to help me glue all the plastic toys to the inside of the jar's lids. Meanwhile, Cosmo helped me keep track of which globe should go to each neighbor. For example, Mr. Harrison should get the snow globe with the little pink plastic cactus in it because it reminds me of the welcome cactus that greets visitors outside his front door. Once we had the glass jars sorted and the plastic toys glued to their lids, we just needed water, sequins, glitter, and the secret ingredient. I have a lot of glitter. I keep it in a special tote with a locking top. I mean, you can't be too careful with glitter, am I right? It locks. Piper's glitter box. Cosmo and I set up our snow globe assembly line in the kitchen. We slid the step stool over to the sink, then lined up all the clean jars and filled them with water. Well, Cosmo mainly watched because his little arms couldn't reach the faucet. We added some sequins and a bit of glitter to each jar and gave it a stir. Cosmo is an excellent stirrer. Then it was time to squeeze in the magic ingredient, baby oil. This helps the glitter, which is supposed to look like snow, swirl around slower and prettier. Once the baby oil was added, we screwed the lids onto the jars. Cosmo made sure they were on extra tight so they wouldn't leak. He might be tiny, but he's stronger than you'd think. Finally, the snow globes were finished. Oh my blizzards! The glitter swirled around in them just like snow in a real winter storm. Let's hope they work their magic and not only get people excited about the extravaganza, but also somehow make it snow. Snow globe invitations. You'll need old newspapers, small glass jars with screw-on lids, small plastic toys, hot glue gun, water, baby oil or mineral oil, sequins or glitter, or both. 1. Spread some newspaper over the table where you'll be working. This might get messy. 2. Set the jar lid on the newspaper top side down. Choose your toys and arrange them inside the lid. Carefully lower the jar over the toys to make sure that everything fits inside the jar with plenty of room to spare. You still need space for the snow. When everything is arranged the way you like it, remove the jar and set it aside. 3. Ask an adult to help you hot glue the toys to the inside of the lid. Let the glue dry. 4. Fill the jar with water, leaving about a ½ inch of space at the top. You may need to leave more or less room depending on how big your toys are. Add 2 or 3 drops of baby oil and stir well. 5. Add a spoonful or more of sequins or glitter to the jar. 6. Screw the lid on really tightly. You should definitely ask an adult to help with this part. 7. Shake the jar and watch the snow float down. Will it snow in time for the big annual neighborhood snow person extravaganza? Find out in my Pet Slime DIY Diaries, Book 5.